Hello, owls. Welcome back. Today, we visit a quiet town called Sunnydale. It was a normal place, with a bakery, a school, and a park. But one Monday morning, something strange happened. The sun rose, and the people woke up and they never went to bed. It started slowly. By Tuesday evening, the lights in every house were still on. The streets were full. People were walking their dogs, fixing their cars, and cutting their grass at 11 p.m. By Wednesday, the police received the first call. "We need help," a frantic voice said. "No one is sleeping. No one is tired. But they are changing." The police called Dr. Thorne. Dr. Thorne was a sleep specialist. He drove to Sunnydale immediately. As he entered the town limits, he felt a strange energy in the air. It felt like electricity under his skin. He stopped at a red light. The car next to him was blasting loud music. The driver was tapping his fingers on the steering wheel violently. His eyes were wide open, staring at the road, unblinking. He looked manic. Eris rolled down his window. "Sir, are you okay?" The man turned his head slowly. "I am amazing," the man said, his voice shaking. "I have done so much work today. I painted my house. I wrote a book. I fixed my roof. I don't need sleep. Sleep is for the weak." Dr. Thorne drove to the police station. It was 2 a.m., but the town looked like it was 2 p.m. The lights were blazing. Stores were open. Children were playing on the swings in the dark. He met Sheriff Miller. The sheriff looked terrible. His face was pale, his eyes were red, and his hands were shaking. "Doctor, thank God you're here," the sheriff said. "It's been 48 hours. No one has slept. At first, people were productive. But now they are getting sick. And they are seeing things." "Seeing things?" Eris asked. "Hallucinations." "Yes." Mrs. Gable thought her cat was a demon. She tried to drown it. Mr. Jenkins tried to fly off the water tower. They are losing their minds. Suddenly, the doors burst open. A woman ran in. She was screaming, "My son! My son!" "What happened?" the sheriff asked. "He won't stop moving," she cried. "He's in the basement. He's digging. He says he needs to dig to China. He's been digging for 10 hours. His fingers are bleeding." Dr. Thorne grabbed his medical bag. "Take me to him." They ran to a small blue house. In the basement, they found the boy, no older than 10. He was digging a hole in the concrete floor with a shovel. His hands were bloody and raw. His eyes were wide open, staring at nothing. "Tommy," Dr. Thorne called gently. The boy didn't answer. He just kept digging. Thud, thud, thud. "His adrenaline levels are toxic," Dr. Thorne said. "His body should have shut down days ago. Something is keeping him awake." Eris walked out of the house. He looked up at the night sky. The stars were hidden by a strange gray mist. He closed his eyes and listened. He heard the digging. He heard the distant shouting. But underneath it all, he heard a sound. A low, constant hum. It wasn't coming from the people. It was coming from the center of the town. It was a low-frequency sound, barely audible, but he could feel it vibrating in his bones. "The tower," Eris whispered. In the center of the town, a new cell phone tower had been installed 2 days ago. It was taller than the others. It had blinking blue lights on top. "Get your car," Eris told the sheriff. "We need to check that tower." They drove to the tower. It was surrounded by a high fence with a sign that said "Government property, do not enter." "I didn't know the government built a new tower," the sheriff said. "It's not a cell tower," Eris said, looking at the blue lights. "It's broadcasting a neural pulse." "Neural pulse? What does that mean? It's a signal that triggers the brain. It keeps the awake part of the brain active. It's an experiment. Someone is trying to create a workforce that never sleeps, to increase productivity. But they are dying, the sheriff shouted. We have to turn it off. We need to cut the power, Eris said. We need to get in. They broke the lock on the gate and ran to the generator room. But there were guards. Private security. They were wide awake, and they looked angry. Stop, a guard shouted, raising a stun gun. This is government property. People are dying in this town. Eris yelled. This experiment is illegal. We have orders. Do not interfere. The guards rushed them. The sheriff fought one guard, but he was exhausted. He moved slowly. The guard easily knocked him to the ground. Eris had no choice. He grabbed a heavy metal wrench from the ground and ran toward the main power box. Stop! The other guard shouted and pointed the stun gun at him. The electricity hit Eris. It hurt, but he didn't stop. The adrenaline was high. He reached the power box, lifted the wrench, and smashed the control panel. Sparks flew everywhere. The blue lights on the tower flickered. The low hum stopped. The silence returned. Eris fell to his knees, breathing heavily. The guards suddenly stopped fighting. Their eyes rolled back. They swayed, then fell to the ground, asleep within seconds. The sheriff stood up slowly. What happened? I turned it off, Eris whispered. Go home and sleep. Outside, the effect was immediate. A woman running down the street slowed down, sat on the sidewalk, and closed her eyes. The boy in the basement dropped the shovel, lay down on the dirt, and fell into a deep sleep. The man in the car turned off the music, leaned back, and started snoring. The town of Sunnydale fell asleep all at once. Cars stopped in the middle of the road. People slept on park benches. It looked like a ghost town, but it was the most peaceful ghost town on Earth. Eris sat in his car. He was exhausted too. Before he left, he looked at the tower. He knew they would come to repair it. He knew they wouldn't give up easily. But for tonight, humanity had won. Sleep had returned. And something more important than work had been saved: their humanity. He started his car and drove away, leaving the town to dream.